So in what I do, and I believe in any good vendor, the account is only as good as the AE, or the account executive, the representative, whatever, the customer service, whatever the person is that you work with directly on your ditch ad account. I think that it's only as good as that. So what sets a good AE, in my case, that's what they're called at my company, apart from okay AE? I think that we as AEs need to come to the table prepped for the meeting. And I'm not talking you have to do a days or an hours or 3 weeks worth of prep, but you need to do some semblance of prep in a reasonable time frame that works for you, in order to bring good insights and good recommendations to your store. Like, that's why they rely on us, is because we are the experts. So what you need to be that, have those recommendations and be that expert is you have to have proper preparation. So what does that mean? So in my case, for preparation for my meetings, I usually spend, and it depends on the store, it depends on how many stores, it depends on, the store, how many different strategies they're utilizing. I have some stores that are doing search only. I have some stores that are using every single thing that we do. It just kind of depends on the scope and the breadth and the depth of what they're doing. But I'll go in, the first thing I'll usually go into is I'll look at what their inventory was the last time I met with them, which I keep track of that. I have a prep sheet that I keep track of that. And I'll see inventory go down. Did inventory go down? Did inventory go up? Now, Pure Insights, the tool that we use, also has that data in it too. So I can see if there's some fluctuations there. Second thing I look at is usually in our Pure Insights dashboard, I'll have the DMS data pulled in so I can see what their sales were. Like if I'm looking at last month's sales versus the previous month versus the previous year, I'll just kind of take a glance, maybe jot that down. And then after that, I'll look at the website and I'll see, are the offers aligned with, or the new offers up, or the offers aligned with what we have already running. If it's mid-month meeting, like a different meeting is also a different prep, right? So if the meeting at the beginning of the month, that's like the reviewing the previous month meeting, that meeting is just basically making sure we have the offers, incentives aligned up with the goals and focus of the store. So I want to see how many they have of CX50, let's say, or CX5s or F150s, or, depending on what the store is. I want to see the focus models that I have. How many do they have now? Because I'm not going to continue to make that recommendation if they only have 2 of the models that last month we had 15 of. So it just kind of depends on the needs and the focus of the store, and hopefully the relationship that you have with the store. And in my case, I have pretty good connections and relationships with almost all of my stores, that I know what their focus models are going to be. I know what they're going to say. So then I go look at that inventory. If they have offers up, I see what the offers are, so that when I'm talking to them, I'm saying, okay, well, I see you have a little bit more heavy in stock on F-150s than you did last month. So I think we're on the right path with where we have the focus on social and search with F-150, but I think we could do something with display, or I think we could do something with OTT. Did we want to reallocate some funds from here to put there? You know what I mean? Those are the kinds of conversations you could be prepped for with recommendations, in order to come to the table. Not just if you're reading the news, you could just send them a report, send them a PDF report or Looker Studio report of what their metrics are. Don't read the news to them. Like, tell them what your insights are. Tell them what you see. So if you take a little bit of time and you're doing that level of prep for each call, then you're coming to the table with, no dealers don't give a shit about clicks and impressions. Am I right? They probably don't even want to know about clicks and impressions for the most part, because that doesn't really do anything for them. Most dealers want to know about how many leads did I get, how many phone calls, how many chats, how many form leads, finance leads, trade leads, how many the DRT, how many people clicked on the DRT, the digital retailing tool, this stuff like that. So The soft conversions are important. Don't get me wrong. I've been a big proponent of you have to pay attention to the soft conversions and the hard conversions, but dealers don't want to hear about that. Like, tell them this is what I'm seeing traffic-wise. Like, the tools that I have for my job, and I'm not saying we're the only ones that have them. I just happen to be biased and think ours are the best. But the tools I have for my job, I can look and I can see exactly where the clicks and impressions are coming from in order to then track back where the leads, the phone calls, the hard conversions are coming from. So if I see we're getting a lot of traffic from, I just had this happen with a store, I'm not advertising there's an area in El Paso and Las Cruces, and that area is in pretty much all of West Texas, and East New Mexico is unique, but in that area of West Texas, we're advertising in a smaller radius than we're actually getting clicks and impressions in. Why do I need to understand that? Because do I need to broaden out my scope to capture more clicks and impressions there in order to get more hard conversions? So my recommendation to this store, taking that all in, because we were looking at a map, a store that I have that's in El Paso, and he was like, he asked me, the marketing director, hey, why am I getting these clicks outside of Las Cruces up towards almost to Alamogordo? Well, we're not advertising there. That means there's somebody who's commuting from there who works in El Paso. That's actually where they're getting served up the ad, and then it's getting retargeted to them, like it's in their cache, whatever you want to call it. It's getting retargeted to them after they're home, which looks like, yeah, okay, that might be getting served up in almost to Alamogordo, but that's not where we're advertising. Where I'm going with that is by seeing all that data in together, I can then tell him maybe we should be advertising in that area. If you're getting clicks in that area, maybe that's an area we need to explore a little further. Now, I know that that's a bad example. There's not a lot in Alamogordo, but yeah, you get my point. Making sure we're prepped going into the meeting so that we're not just reading the news, but we're actually making recommendations based on what we would do if it was our business. That's what keeps people with the company. Not 100%, because there are people who just, for whatever reason, they just don't understand or don't want to understand, or we overcomplicate it to them, because I've done that myself. I've overcomplicated stuff that didn't need to be complicated. But with the right amount of prep work, and if you match the personalities of your AEs to your clients, you can actually get really far. So don't ever be afraid as a AE to say, hey, you know what? I think this guy and I are butting heads, and I think he needs a new AE. I don't think we're jiving. I don't think we're connecting. He needs a new AE. I would have more respect if an employee, an account executive, said to me, if I were a manager, hey, I don't think we're jiving. I don't think we're getting along. I think we need to switch AEs. Than I would if I had an angry phone call from a client 3 months later saying, I don't know what that lady's talking about. She does not speak in my language. So if we can humble ourselves just a little bit and understand that sometimes that shit happens, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like you, and not every client is going to be a perfect match for you. I completely understand that. I've had that myself. But put in the prep work, put in the legwork to try to make sure you understand their market, their needs, their focus models, all that kind of stuff, because that lends to creating a stronger bond relationship. I will say this from the dealer side of it. If you're a dealer and you have an issue with a vendor, make sure it's not an issue with the vendor. If it's an issue with the account executive you have, like maybe they're just not understanding, again, same thing. You're not jiving, you're not connecting, you're not communicating, and you're just not getting along well. Ask, not them, ask their direct manager, which I'm sure you have the contact information for. Ask them, hey, I think I need an account executive change. We're just not on the same page, this AE and I. They'll respect that too. But just, I see way too many times where I see stores, and I saw this all the time when I was a consultant, they literally cancel a vendor altogether and start over with another company simply because they don't like the account executive handling their account. What I will say, if you're a dealer and you're thinking about this, slow down a little bit. Really think about, is the problem with the person or the product? And I can almost guarantee it's a clash of personalities or a difference of viewpoints rather than a problem with the product that you're being served. Because all of us do the same shit. We all have digital advertising. We all do SEM. We all do social. We all do AOTT. We all do display, performance max. We all set them up the same way. Brand, regional, new VAs, used VAs, new make. You know what I mean? We all have the same setup. So find somebody and communicate that with them, that you communicate with well and they communicate with you well, and then work it out. Work it out. Work it out like you've been married for 40 years. And there's legit no logical reason for you to break up. And I promise you, your long-term payoffs will be so much higher by doing that. Instead of vendor jumping. This vendor jumping bullshit has to stop. You are literally killing your own business every time you vendor jump. So stop doing that. Instead, AEs, you feel a problem, ask for a change. Dealers, you feel a problem, ask for a change. And communicate better. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.